Hello, Ram fam. My name is Jeff Garner, and welcome to this week's edition of Inside Cleveland Rams Football. As always, I'm joined by the head coach of the Cleveland Rams, Mr. Scott Riley. Scott, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it again.
Thank you.
Took our first loss of the season this week, Coach, at home to a very good Terry Sanford team. Final score 49-28, drops our record to 2-1, and improved the Bulldogs staying undefeated at a perfect 3-0. Initial thoughts on the game, Coach?
Well, you got to give credit to Terry Sanford. They really came out, took it to us early and often, especially with their offense. But at the same time, I don't think we played our best game either. So a lot of things to improve upon and get better at if we're going to go where we want to go.
Rams win the toss, choose to defer to start the game. So after deferring, the Bulldogs received the opening kickoff, but after just a few plays, they actually fumble. Rams recover. Following that recovery, the Rams score on their second play from scrimmage. The Rams led early 7-0 in the first. Got to be feeling good after that first couple of plays, though, there, Coach.
Yeah, obviously forcing a turnover. They moved the ball down the field, so we're a little uneasy about that, but forcing a turnover, getting down and getting up 7-0, and the offense having the ease they had getting down the field, it was a good start.
Yeah. After that first touchdown, it kind of turned into a track meet. After that first quarter, 5 total touchdowns in the first quarter, 3 by the Bulldogs, 2 by the Rams. First quarter ends with the Bulldogs leading 21-14. Kind of what I saw working for that Bulldog offense, Coach, was and in the first quarter and kind of much of the second. We'll talk about that. I got a couple plays here queued up later on, but that Bulldog offense was using the screen pass to perfection almost there to begin with.
Yeah, they really did that. A lot of those screens we hadn't seen before on film and things like that. But yeah, they executed a good game plan against us and kind of took us out of some of the things that we wanted to do. Early, and our offense was playing well, keep us into the game. I thought they played really well for the most part until that pick six, but and then the defense struggled all night and weren't the aggressive defense that we saw really all season, but particularly against Gardner the week before.
Well, I'll talk about it here a little bit too later on, but obviously this was a weird week for us again with the weather and Mother Nature and all that kind of thing. Did that was good or bad? Not good or bad, but I mean, did it affect the preparation and that kind of thing, moving it to a Saturday and those kind of things?
I don't think it affected the preparation. Obviously, you don't like to have a break in between, and all after-school activities were canceled on Friday, so we couldn't, review things. But I think it was more, against Gardner's a big crowd, fed off the emotions of the game, and played a little more aggressively, especially on the defensive side of the ball, where aggression and that kind of stuff is a little more important.
Right.
I didn't have that early in the game, but that's something we got to learn from. We're not always going to have that, your way or this, that, or the other. We can't rely on outside forces to get us up ready to play football. So it's a good learning experience for a young group of guys.
Well, after that first quarter, second quarter kind of calms down a bit. Rams actually do a much better job defending that screen pass. Both teams trade a single score in the second quarter. Rams go into half only down 29-20. How'd you feel heading into the break?
Good. The reason we defer so we can get momentum going in the second half with a good drive, and we had one, and then the pick six occurred.
Yeah.
But going into halftime, only being down 9 points with the way we played defensively, I thought was very good. Considering what we were at, we thought we could make some adjustments, and we score on that drive, that first drive. It might be a different ball game, but unfortunately, we did not and gave up a pick six. And maybe the most disappointing part of it was our response to that. Not the usual Cleveland comeback attitude that we wanted. Yeah,
I would agree. And like I said, you mentioned it. I really thought the game was won for the Bulldogs in that third quarter. 13 unanswered to break the game open. The pick six that you mentioned, I really seemed to think that really turned the momentum for you or for them, I should say. And like I said, I didn't see that. I give them credit, and we'll talk about it here a little bit. I didn't see quit in them by any stretch of the imagination, but definitely didn't see the aggressive, hey, let's crank it up a notch and get back in this thing like we normally do, I should say.
Right. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Certainly give the Rams credit, though, Coach. Like I said, didn't give up. They hold the Bulldogs to a single score in the fourth quarter, score a touchdown along with a 2-point conversion to win the fourth quarter on points, 8-7. But again, unfortunately, a little too late. And like I said, the Bulldogs pull out the victory, 49-28. Let's talk stats a little bit, Coach. 163 yards passing, 222 rushing for the Rams, total of 385. For the Bulldogs, 191 passing, 208 rushing, total of 399. So 399 for the Bulldogs, 385 for the Rams. Turnovers even at 2. That's about as even as a game from a statistical standpoint as you can get. But again, as we've talked about every week, statistics, they don't tell the whole. They don't tell the whole story. So, what do you think made the difference for the Bulldogs pulling out the victory there?
I thought, their offensive line was much more physical than our D-line in that game, and that's something that we're a place we thought we were going to have an advantage, and we ended up having a disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's hard to win a football game when you don't win the line of scrimmage.
Right.
So that was probably the biggest difference in the game. We didn't get pressure, and they were able to throw the ball when they needed to.
All right, well, as we do each week, Coach, I've queued up some of the highlights on the night. Take us through them if you would. We're in the first quarter here, Coach. Talked a little bit about this earlier. Rams actually come up with a quick turnover on the Bulldogs' first drive of the night.
Yeah, they get through the line of scrimmage here. Jamal Hampton, one of our corners, is aggressive on the run and lays a big hit with the.
He definitely does.
With the runners wrapped up there and gets the ball out. Something we've been working on the last few weeks on, second man in, getting the ball out. So good look there, and a big turnover for us as they were driving into scoring position.
2 plays later, Coach, sophomore quarterback Tyson Dew gets the Rams on the board with a big touchdown run.
Yeah, obviously 2 big runs, one out of Tyson, and that set up this run where they go after Tyson, and he Darius able to get a big run, and nifty running getting through traffic.
My apologies, I said Tyson, but Ocean.
Nifty run getting through the defensive backfield to turn what was a big run already because of the good blocking into a touchdown. So good run, good blocking, good execution. Almost too good. We didn't have much time to go over some of the things that went wrong in the first drive before we got into that second drive for our defense. But a great execution, great way to start the game for the Rams.
Second quarter now, Coach. Again, we talked a little bit about that screen pass that was working for the Bulldogs, and actually, after a few of their successful attempts at it, defense comes up with a big play after another attempt at it.
Right. Yeah. Screens are always a hard thing to practice against, and it wasn't something that was big in their game plan going in. It's something we've been susceptible to in the 2 weeks before, so maybe we should have been working on it a little bit more than we had. But after they'd seen it a couple times, they do respond. Xavier Clark gets in the way of the screener here and is able to bat the ball down. You look back at differences in the game. They get in the way of one of our screens. They pick it off and run it back for a touchdown. We're getting in the way of a screen and we bat it down. So small things can make a difference. That's a 14-point swing in those 2 plays right there.
Yeah, the ball got batted up, and there's 2 or 3 Rams around it, and could have had the opportunity to get it, but just couldn't locate it. But you're right. This just inches can make a difference. That's for sure. Still second quarter here, Coach. After forcing a Bulldog punt, Rams driving. First play for the Rams. Ocean finds Artis. Artis makes just a spectacular catch. Even some pass interference after some pass interference on it as well.
Oh yeah, great job winning the slant there. We did a real good job throwing the ball in the first half. I think we were 11 or 12 before the pick 6. Great execution when we had that balance of run and pass. When we got behind and it became clear we were going to have to throw the ball more, is when the passing window started to close down. So here's a great throw, great catch, and it's a harder defense. And they're both sophomores, so it's something we'll probably see a lot more.
Hopefully see a lot of, again, 2 plays later after that, Coach, Ocean hits John Barnes for the touchdown to bring the Rams within 9 at 29-20.
Yeah, John's a big playmaker for us, playing on both sides of the ball, and did another great job. He took some big hits and had some big catches in the game and kept on ticking. So another big one here for us.
Third quarter, 1st and 10 for the Rams on the Bulldog 45. Barnes makes, again, that another great catch like we just talked about. Actually got dinged up a little bit, and came off the field, but again, just a great catch.
Yeah, tough kid. We always tell him, you're going to get hit anyway, so might as well
catch the ball. Yeah.
And he takes that. It's easier said than done. And he does that great concentration on the ball while taking a pretty good lick there on the shoulder. So, obviously he's got great hands and is a playmaker for us in the secondary.
Unfortunately, later in that drive, that's when the Bulldogs get that pick six. But the Rams, as we said, do not quit. Fourth quarter now, Coach, number 3, Sam Dominic, with the strip on the quarterback on Christian Jane, and your junior linebacker, Carrasco, recovers a fumble.
Yeah, we want to create turnovers. Our goal is 4 a game. We only got 2, and that could have been the difference as well. But Sam does a good job of poking the ball out. Quarterback's holding it loosely there and is able to poke it out as he's running at him, which would have been I believe a first down, and gets it out. And Wood Diego had the presence to jump on that ball and give our offense a chance to get back in the game. Right there, so it's a big. I think we go on to score right there, and it gives us a chance to onside kick to get right back in the game. So, those turnovers can really snowball and get us back in football games when things like that happen. So that was a big play.
And just like as you mentioned, Coach, 2 plays later, and this is when your junior running back Tyson Dew takes it to the house.
Yeah, great run. I believe Tyson had another great game, averaging 8 yards a carry in this one. So he's been a workhorse for us early in the year.
Yes, he has.
And we got to keep him trucking on offense and give him the ball a few more times with our keep our defense off the field. So another great run by him, and hopefully he'll keep doing it.
Many more to come.
Week in, week out.
Rams get the 2-point conversion, but as we said, just a bit too little, too late. Rams fall 49-28 again to fall to 2-1 on the season. So, all right. Well, next up, Coach, is our weekly player awards. Who you got for us this week?
Offensive player of the week. Tyson's been a staple there, averaged 8 yards a carry. But a lot of credit goes to that offensive line.
Yes.
And one of the big additions this year is senior Craig Ransom. He's been with us since he's a freshman, but missed the entire year last year with an injury. And since he's been back, he's been a road grader inside, and
yes, he has.
Great in pass protection. And so he's made a huge difference to the offensive line from last year to this year. Big upgrade. So Craig Ransom's
a great pick.
Offensive player of the week this week. Just like in the beginning, the first week, we didn't have special teams player of the week because as a unit we didn't grade out high enough. The same as with the defensive. Didn't execute our game plan the way we wanted to.
Right.
Didn't have that aggression and attitude that we've had every time we stepped on the field so far. So we don't have a defensive player of the week this week.
Okay.
Didn't have the performance that we needed.
Right.
Special teams player of the week for the second week in a row is Hunter Baldwin. Did a great job of the kickoffs.
Yes, he did.
Didn't have any kickoff returns. We wanted to pooch it up there. And they had their most dangerous player there, right there, returning it, but he got enough height on it each time that he didn't have a chance to return it. Put one high up in the sun when the Jane player wasn't there, and we dropped on the ground. And just one of those
Almost
days.
there,
one of those days, the ball popped right back to the player that dropped it. So, but he did a great job placing it on there, pretty much perfect as far as the kickoffs go. Want to get a little more distance on the onside kick, but other than that, a pretty good day. And then our trenches player of the week, again, another great performance by our offensive line. And Nate Dean's a road grader in there inside as well. So
yes, he is.
He's a guy that's come a long way in 4 years and been a 2-year starter for us now in varsity and kind of been a leader up front. So Nate Dean's our trenches player of the week this week. Again, another great job of the whole offensive line.
Yes.
It's hard to single one guy out. One guy misses the block and the other 4 do it. The play usually doesn't work. When things are working, all 5 of them.
It has to be a unit. It really does have to be a unit.
Yeah, all 5 of them are working well. So all 5 of them really deserve an award the last 2 weeks in particular. But the scout team player of the week goes to Griffin Duck, another senior. He scouted, the Jane receiver out there. So,
Andrew Jane.
One of our bigger receivers, and did a good job with that, getting us prepared for defending him all week. And then our program player of the week goes to Orlanzel Washington.
Okay.
Another senior award. We started school this week, and so their first progress reports went out to the teachers and came back, and everyone had a good report.
Yeah.
So first week, everyone's well behaved. So we get that, but
better be.
All the teachers checked off yes, they're doing what they're supposed to. But Orlanzel's teachers all had extra comments about him.
Oh, great. Okay.
So not only is he doing what he's supposed to, but he's going above and beyond. He's a pleasure in the classroom and those kind of things. So those are the things you like to hear about your players.
Yes, absolutely.
And all 4 of his teachers had something positive to say about him.
In week 1, that's great.
Week 1, so getting off to a good start.
Yes.
And he's done it for 4 years. Another one of our great student athletes that we have on the team.
Appreciate that. Next up, before we actually talk about this week's upcoming game, I wanted to spend a couple of minutes talking about one of your coaches. Again, you're so fortunate to have such a great coaching staff here. Just top-notch individuals. You can tell they love what they do, and they love being here at Cleveland. One of those coaches, Mr. Brad Wilkie. Brad is your O-line coach. Tell us your thoughts on Brad, what he brings to the table too.
Brad came on board as soon as I became the head football coach, and has done a great job for us. He was the offensive coordinator at Eastern Randolph, had great success there. Wanted to get back here closer to family and those kind of things. So it was our great fortune to get him here. And he hadn't coached O-line until he came here, been offensive coordinator to know how it all works. And he's really taken to it, loves the trenches, loves the big guys.
You can say that again.
He loves football and loves taking care of grass. So, he gets to do all those things here and really enjoys it. So he's been a great addition to our staff.
I tell you what, I enjoy the heck out of going over there and watching him get those guys fired up. I say get them fired up, and they're already fired up, but he brings them up another notch every time I go over there and take a look. And the passion. Passion is what the word that comes to mind with me. So, but I appreciate that, Coach. I actually had the opportunity to talk to Coach Wilkie, and Ram Fam, I hope you'll enjoy that. We're going to send you away for that right now. We'll be back in just a second. Enjoy. Hey, Ram Fam, Jeff Garner here. Listen, appreciate you being back with us. It's my pleasure and great opportunity to have another one of our Cleveland Ram coaches with us. We're so fortunate to have such a great coaching staff here at Cleveland, and this is just another one, Mr. Brad Wilkie. Brad, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. I know you're busy. I know I appreciate you giving us some of your time here today.
Anytime.
But just the Ram Fam love to hear from us. Love to hear from our players and our coaches and get a little inner perspective here of outside the lines here at off the football field. So from Liberty, I understand. Is that home to you? Is that where you're from?
Yeah, grew up in Liberty. It's a little town about 20 minutes southwest of Greensboro. It's in Randolph County. I went to Eastern Randolph High School. Played football and baseball there. Ended up going to Gardner-Webb on a football scholarship. And actually later in life come back and coached at Eastern Randolph. So.
Awesome. Yeah, I was going to say I knew you went to Eastern Randolph. I didn't realize until till last day or so that you were actually coached there as well. So that's your alma mater here, like you said, and you left alma mater to come here to Cleveland or whatever. So
it's a special place to get me to leave Eastern Randolph.
Well, I love to hear that. I hear nothing else but good about Cleveland, but it's always good to hear from the outside in, that kind of thing. So how'd you get to Cleveland? I mean, what brought you here?
Well, a couple reasons. It was a time period in my life when, we were looking maybe to move. I actually, when you're in the coaching fraternity, it's kind of like a fraternity. When you're coaching for a while, your names pass with other people and everybody gets to kind of know you at clinics and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And there was a position open here when Coach Morris left. Mm-hmm. And at the time, I was actually, we won't mention where, but I was in the process of some final interviews at some schools close to here. Okay. And my name kind of got intercepted by Coach Riley, and here I am.
I hear you.
And like I said, I'd been offensive coordinator for 7 years at Eastern Randolph. I was interviewing for coordinator jobs. They offered me the O-line job here, and I'd already done my homework. I always do when I'm going places. Right. Any coach would. And this was the place. If I was going to move to this area, this is the place I wanted to be at. Awesome. I mean, I had scouted this place for 3 years previous. I'd seen, hey, it's a new school. Most of the time when you open a new school, you're going to struggle a little bit early. This bunch is in the fourth round, year one on varsity stuff. This place has it going on. This is a good place to settle and move my family to. So, and the other reason was my wife's family is from Sampson County and the Cape Fear area, Stedman. My wife went to Cape Fear. Okay. So we had a young child at the time, so she wanted to look at getting down closer to home
Get
to her.
home, right?
So, you know, she's give a lot for me for 8 years to move to my home. I give back to her.
I hear you.
And it worked out for me really well. So.
Well, I got to say, and I mean this with all sincerity and all respect, when I heard that you were, you know, offensive coordinator, it kind of took me back a little bit. Not that you couldn't do it by any stretch of the imagination, but you are so awesome at the O-line, and I'm not saying one's less or more than the other, whatever, but you just, to me, seem a perfect fit for the O-line, and not that you couldn't do a coordinator or anything like that. No stretch of imagination, but you just fit so well. Is that something that you were always interested in? Or is this just kind of the way it worked out here? That kind of thing?
I always tell people, coaching is coaching. Coaching football is coaching football. If you can coach, you can coach any position. Yeah. And you just have to, you know, it's the O-line's a little different breed than everywhere else. Usually it's the best group of kids in the school. They're always accountable. They're always on time. They're reliable. You can depend on them.
Right.
And they're the tightest knit group. They have to be.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
got to be. This room right here has to be the tightest knit group on the field. You can't have any outcasts, can't have any cancer, stuff like that. You got to get rid of them.
Yeah.
You know, because the O-line,
it's a unit.
It is a unit.
Yeah.
You know, it's not quarterbacks and individual receivers. You know, pretty much individual.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
We all work as a team, but the O-line is the one position where the man to your left and your right on either side, depending on where you play,
it's the
it
foxhole.
matters.
It's the foxhole.
Yeah. I use that term with these guys. I had to educate them on what that means. It's a little before their time.
Yes,
so.
right. Well, let's talk teaching a little bit. I know you obviously teach here at Cleveland as well. I mean, tell me what you teach, tell me your subjects, that kind of thing.
I teach weightlifting. I've got men. Coach Riley would cover the weight room. He's got 3 of them. I have 1. It's a great situation. I have the whole entire offensive line, freshmen through seniors, coming in here at 4th blocking a little bit.
Right.
So I'm with them all day. We go right from there to practice. It's a good situation in the mornings. I cover the distance learning lab, which is your online class.
Oh yeah,
stuff.
right.
It is a great position for a coach to be in, because that's where a lot of game planning and film study.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm fortunate enough, I have some of my kids that come in, my players that take online classes, so I'm right there with them. They work in their class, take a little break, come here and watch a little film. I can get some extra coaching in.
Awesome.
Any chance you get to,
you got to take advantage
some film,
of it.
and that's exactly right.
Right. Well, is coaching, teaching? Is that something you're always interested in doing? Is that something was always the plan, kind of thing?
No. Well, I always had in the back of my mind, I thought I'd like to coach.
Right.
I wasn't sure about teaching. I actually majored in Gardner Webb business and administration. Okay. When I got out, I moved back and got a entry-level business position in a place in Greensboro, near Greensboro. And a buddy of mine, he had coached at Methodist University, and he was helping out at a 1A school in Chatham County. And he called me, he said, you know, Coach said you back in the area, would you be willing to help out some? So I kind of started off as a lay coach like many do, and I was hooked. Went back to school to North Carolina A&T, got my master's in PE, and
awesome.
There we go.
Okay.
And I think everybody but one on our coaching staff here was lateral entry at one point in time, which means they majored in something else, got into coaching, then went back and got their teaching certificate.
Right.
So, you know,
well, is there
a lot of similarities here?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it really sounds, all these stories, you know, I've had the chance to talk to, you know, a number of coaches, and a lot of the stories do sound familiar as far as how they got here, and like I said, the fraternity you're talking about and all that kind of thing.
Talking about the coordinator thing, it's so, now that we've got Coach Hughes, our running backs coach here, and even Coach Jacobs at receivers, he was a defensive coordinator at Princeton. We actually coached against each other when I was at Chatham Central many years ago, and everybody on our offensive staff and everybody but one on the defensive staff has been a coordinator or a head coach at some point in time in their coaching career. So I think that is just fantastic to have that many minds and ideas. And everybody get along and work together.
Right. It is really
I think that's what makes us a strong staff and a strong program.
Absolutely. Well, is there talking about past coaches? Is there a past coach, a friend, a mentor, or anything like that kind of sticks out in your brain that says, hey, you know, I really respect what he did, and I kind of mirror myself against him, or anything like that? Or are you anything like that come to mind?
Yeah, probably my high school coach. Burton Cates at Eastern Randolph. He's actually just won his 300th game last week against, I forget who, maybe Northwood or Athens Drive, somebody like that. And then I was fortunate enough to also coach with him before he moved on to Lee County. My college coaches, all my position coaches, they were always great motivators, great teachers. Of course, in the college game, assistants come and go.
Right.
You know, moving on to the next job,
Certainly.
stuff like that. So, but yeah, I would say, Coach Cates, I catch myself a lot of the sayings and a lot of the way I prepare and try to, you know, coach my kids is all kinds of the ways I was coached.
Right.
And we were very successful in high school. And
well, whoever put that motivator bug in you, it definitely sits, because you know that's the word. Passion and motivation are the two words that come to mind when I think of Brad Wilkie out on that football field. Obviously, you got the smarts, you got the X's and O's, but I mean, you know, those kids will just run through wall for you, and that's kind of brings up my next question is, you know, what do you attribute that to? I mean, what do you attribute these connections? Again, all these coaches seem to have real good connections, you know, with these kids, with these players, and what do you kind of attribute that to?
I think, Jeff, the biggest thing that coaches have to have, if I had to sum it up to one word, is trust. And that comes from, you have to, when you come in, any new coach to a situation, I had to do it 4 years ago here, you know, come into a new position, new group, you know, you have to build the relationships with those individual players, get them to trust you. You have to be able to trust them, and then you also have to be able to show them that you can make them a better player, make them a better man, and help them out in their future goals. So once you got that, I mean, they're going to do what you tell them to do.
Absolutely.
It's up to you.
And I mean, that's a great point. I mean, it's way more than the X's and O's out there on the field.
Yes.
I mean, they got to know that you know what you're talking about. But like I said, it's respect, it's trust, it's all those things that you mentioned, and you really got that with these guys.
You gotta, you know, it's kind of like there's times when you got to push the throttle. Sometimes you got to back off a little bit. You got to know, just based on the individual.
And all the kids are a little different too.
All kids are different.
Yeah.
Every one of them's different.
Yeah.
So you have to change your coaching style sometimes from year to year. Not your core values by any means, but different little things, you know, personalities that we have, different personalities and stuff like that. So absolutely, it's a big difference from year to year.
How about have you got a one particular accomplishment in your coaching career that sticks out that, you know, hey, this I know you're always striving to get better and do better and attain that next level and all that kind of thing, but what accomplishment in your past career kind of sticks out in your brain?
For me, I was always told you're only as good as your players. So seeing my players, whatever position it's been, I've coached in the past, quarterbacks, O-line here, seeing them achieve their goals, their dreams, whatever they set as goals for themselves, see them achieve it. You know, see them be successful on Friday nights.
And come back, you know, that's
back.
Yeah.
We this summer, you know, we're going through our summer workouts and stuff. You wouldn't, well, you would, you've been here and seen some, but people would not believe for a school that's seventh, 8th year of varsity football, the amount of former lettermen that come back and help with practice. We had some coaches out on stuff. Guess what? We had former DBs coming back and coaching DBs for a week, helping out with the receivers, quarterbacks, you know, ones that are playing college ball. 2 of them were at the game Saturday night. So any chance they get, they want to come back and be a part. I get texts all the time, Coach, let me in the side door. It'll be somebody on break wanting to come in the weight room 4th block. So that's great stuff. And everywhere I've been, we've had that. And I think that just comes from good coaches, building good relationships with the players, and, you know, the family atmosphere that we promote here. And it's a good situation.
It definitely is. It. Yeah, and you're exactly right. I mean, you know, people are all the time contacting, and I'll touch base with several of them. I mean, I'm close with many of them. I try to stay as close as I can, and you know, it never fails. They go, well, I'll be there Friday night. I'll be there Friday night. And it's amazing, and you know, it really is, and it does speak to that, you know, that family atmosphere, like you said. But again, that you got to take some credit. Not you personally. I know you wouldn't do that, but I mean, the coaches and the whole program here got to take some, you know, some responsibility for that, and because you've grown that. I mean, that's something that you guys encourage and want, but again, they want to come back. You know, they want to be here. So that's just I do really enjoy seeing those guys. Well, I know there's very little downtime, you know, or off time for you, you know, especially during football season and all that kind of thing. I also know you're one of us old married folk here, as we like to talk about. You got a beautiful wife, Dana, I know. beautiful young girl. What was her name?
Peyton.
Peyton. That's right. I should remember. My apologies. But I know it's hard. How do you balance that home and school and football and all that kind of thing? How do you do that?
You have to have the mindset that sleep is overrated.
I hear you.
And no, seriously though, during season, there's not a lot of time. I miss, all the coaches miss that have kids and their wives stuff. They miss a lot of things that the average dads get to go to and see, hopefully. But the thing, that coaches have to do is they have to prioritize their time with their families. Their families have got to come first, when they're free from their jobs and stuff. I have a lot of people all the time, I used to play golf all the time, and if I had to tell a young coach something that's just getting into it and got a young child, said, look, when you get a day off, coach says y'all got the afternoon off, don't go play golf. Don't go play poker with your poker buddies. Go take your child to play catch, take her to the park, do whatever, do something with your family, because you don't get those days back.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think that's the most important.
Got to take
thing.
advantage of it.
Take advantage of the time you have. That's exactly right.
Well, and again, like I said, I know you just like you said, you spend that time with the family. But if if you had to spend some time for Wilkie, what is Wilkie's time? What does he like to do?
Well, if you had the O-line in here, they'd all unanimously say at one time he's gonna be at the beach.
Okay, all right.
We got a family place down at Surf City, and that is our happy place.
That's the happy place.
All three of us.
Okay.
And I'm gonna be, steaming some oysters, and I'm gonna be fishing inshore, near shore, offshore,
I hear you.
whatever it is.
Okay, cool.
So that is winter and springtime.
Sun and fun, sun and relaxation.
Sun and relaxation.
I hear you. Okay. Well, a couple easy ones here to end it. Favorite movie? Again, I think you mentioned you don't get a chance to go, but
I don't get a chance to go, and I just don't go. My wife gives me heck about it all the time. I want to go see a movie. I said, well, pick something good. There's not really anything good anymore.
This is true.
I would probably have to say my favorite one of all time that I can still watch and laugh and laugh and laugh would be cross between Caddyshack.
Oh, I love it.
Or Animal House.
Oh, I love them. Awesome. That's perfect.
I'd probably go with Caddyshack.
That's perfect.
I enjoy that movie.
That's perfect. Bill Murray.
Dangerfield, they were classics, man.
I get you. Music, a musician, favorite band. What do you like to listen to? What do you got your iPod on?
What? I don't have
What is that?
Me and technology, I'm going to tell you now. I know how to watch film. I'm going to get on Huddle and use all the gadgets we have, but no, I don't have any of that stuff.
Yeah.
I listen to whatever.
Yeah.
I can listen to, at heart, obviously, I like country music.
Yep.
I'm classic rock. 80s rock, anything good.
I hear you.
No
good stuff.
Single favorite. All the stuff you play at the game. My daughter loves it. I love it too. Kids love it.
Awesome.
It's like I tell the kids in the weight room, I love country music. We're not listening to country when we lift.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
we're gonna have the station, proper station on.
There you go. There you go. Well, Brad, thank you so much, man. This has been fun. I appreciate it. Again, so excited about you guys. Scoot would never, well, I actually would. I don't want to take anything away from him. He talks about you guys like he really does appreciate what you do. I certainly appreciate what you do because I know the hours and the effort and the time that it takes. This isn't just showing up and, like I said, writing down on some paper and yelling a couple times and going home. That's not the way this sucker works. So I know you guys put in, the heavy hours, the heavy lifting, and it's not just between those lines out there. All the work that you do with these kids, I really appreciate it, and I know the Ram fam appreciates it.
We appreciate you.
I appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely.
Get stuff out for us.
Well, Ram fam, I hope you've enjoyed this again. Offensive line coach Brad Wilkie. Okay, Coach, we're back, and now let's talk about the Rams' upcoming game this week. It's our third home game in a row, and this time it's against the Crusaders of Cardinal Gibbons High School. This will be the first time that the Rams have taken on the Crusaders, either at home or away, so historic game this week, so to speak. Crusaders members of the Cap 7 4A conference, along with others like Sanderson and Enloe and Millbrook, to mention a few. All but one of our non-conference opponents, 4A schools coach, including Gibbons this week. You like scheduling these 4A non-conference opponents, don't you?
Well, we like to challenge ourselves in non-conference. We could go out and play a weaker team here and there, and make you feel good about yourself. We didn't play Terry Sanford this week. We could have played a lesser opponent, probably come away with a win, which helps us, playoff seeding, all those things. There are benefits to doing that, but we wouldn't have learned some of the lessons we need to learn before we get to conference play into the playoffs. So, you know, we went out and played a lesser opponent. We wouldn't have found some of those weaknesses that we're really going to get after this week in practice. So, you know, we want to be challenged. We want to win. There's no doubt about that. But we want to have challenges to get there, and then Gibbons will provide that for us.
You can schedule, you know, the JV school of the death, or you know, or something. You know, but like I said, what good does that do for you? You know, absolutely.
It helps you in the playoffs. You get a playoff seed. There are benefits to it. I'm not doubting that, but
I hear you.
But yeah, we want to challenge ourselves in the non-conference, and this non-conference schedule is definitely doing that.
Yeah. Well, as of this moment, Coach, the Crusaders bring in a 2-0 record, defeating Athens Drive at home 42-19 in Week 1. Then in Week 2, they went to Southern Durham, beat the Spartans 20-8. I say at this moment because Gibbons was actually scheduled to play Durham Riverside this past week. But as we all know, Mother Nature had, you know, her say in that, and actually got our game rescheduled. But actually, they were the only game to see action in the Triangle this week. They tried to play and almost completed a full quarter of football before the game was postponed due to weather. Riverside was actually able to get a safety, take a 2-0 lead, but the game was suspended with 3:53 to go in the first quarter. They're going to reschedule that game, and if I'm not mistaken, I think the game's been rescheduled for late September or something at this moment.
Week 7 at that point. So
that one's coming up much later on in the season. But first off, Coach, again, we've already talked about a little bit. Unconventional week considering the weather affected so many teams, including the Rams. Gibbons, you know, now, like I said, they've been affected as well. They tried to start a game and wasn't able to finish it. You know, we talked about it a little bit. How does that affect your preparation for this upcoming week, and how do you think it's going to affect Gibbons? You know, they were a little different of a situation, but how do you think that's going to affect them at all?
I think at this point there won't be much effect. It definitely affected our coaches and myself sleep this weekend because we went straight from the game Friday. There's a lot of work that goes on Saturday before we can meet and come up with a game plan on Sunday. So we kind of went right from the game into preparing for the next
preparation mode, right?
Preparation mode. So you know, a few of us slept here on Saturday night, and we're here for quite a while. You know, getting things ready to go. So, but you know, yesterday afternoon we're all able to take naps and get back on schedule. So at this point, I don't think there'll be much effect as long as it looks like the weather's gonna be good this week.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that hurricane is gonna stay in the Caribbean for this week. It might affect us the following week, but you know, you just got to take it as it comes.
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it, but you know, prepare the best you can, and all the teams are, you know, having to, I say suffer. Maybe that's not the right word, but you know, go through the same sort of thing. This is not just an individual thing for Cleveland, or
right?
Like
you know, last year was a lot worse. Than
I was going to say.
So we played every day of the week last year, except for I believe Wednesday. We didn't play on a Wednesday, but I think we played every other day of the week.
I think so. Yeah, I think you're right.
Last year, so you know, you got to take them as you can get them.
Well, the Crusaders coming to the contest, Coach, averaging 31 points a game, holding their opponents to 13.5. They're averaging 164 yards passing, 230 on the ground. Does that mean the Crusaders are really going to try to force that running game on us, do you think, Coach, or what?
I think Gibbons probably resembles our offense more than anyone I've seen or we've faced in high school, in that they're going to take what you give them. So, you know, if we don't give them many in the box, they're gonna run the ball, and if we give them a bunch in the box, they're gonna throw the ball. So we're going to be balanced and have some guys that can, you know, play run and pass and those kind of things. Because they're definitely a well-coached team. They're going to take what the defense is giving them. So it's kind of hard to tell what they're going to do until they look at what we're lined up in and decide how they're going to attack it. That's how they go about things.
Well, at a couple of skill positions, the Crusaders started junior quarterback number 2, Nick Frey. Frey is 25 of 39 for 328, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions on the year so far. And number 6, Dalen Sproul, has 3 touchdowns and averaging 145 yards a game out of the backfield. Are those, you know, the 2 guys that you think we need to keep an eye on? Again, I know they spread the ball a little bit as well, but are those 2 guys who we need to keep an eye on?
Yeah, they have another receiver, running back. They have a lot of guys that can play a multitude of positions. Again, very similar to our guys. We have guys that can go to the backfield,
Sure.
get out the receiver,
Right.
and that kind of thing. But number 5, Jack Bstack, I think is
Yep.
his name.
Right.
He's another force on the offense. But they've had a factory kind of quarterbacks the last few years. Always replacing a great one with another great one, and that seems to be the case again this year. And Spruill's been there for quite a while. I think he's a 3-year starter, somewhere along those lines, and reminds me a lot of an older Jalen Chadwick.
Okay.
Very shifty. And very tough to get on the ground, very thick lower body. So he very good running back, and Bstack's a big receiver and a big running back when he's in the backfield. So some good athletes, and they're if you take one away, they're going to hurt you somewhere else.
How about defensively, Coach? Well, what can we expect from that Crusader defense?
They're a solid D. Might be one of their strengths.
Okay.
Got a physical big front up with the D line, and very sound and well coached in the secondary. So nothing will come easy for us.
Okay, Ram fam, well, there you have it. Here we go again. Friday night at home, we crank it up one more time. This week against the Crusaders from Cardinal Gibbons High School. Kickoff 7:30. Again, kickoff 7:30. This is the last home game before the Rams head out for 3 straight weeks on the road, so we absolutely need you in the stands to pack the house. We'll certainly be there covering every play as we always do, and we'll be right back here next week with highlights and interviews as we do. Coach, again, thank you for your time this week. I know you're really pushed, but hopefully we can pull us out another W. Any final comments for us?
No, look forward to having a big crowd. We were looking forward to having one Friday with it being our first game where school was in session, and the weather didn't cooperate. Looks like the weather is going to be real nice, high 77, all sun during the day, so it should be a perfect day to come out and watch some football, and we'll all be in school, so hopefully we'll have our first sellout.
Absolutely, that'd be nice. Yeah. We need you there, Ram fam. So again, thanks a lot, Coach. We appreciate it. We'll see you right back here next week, and until then, go Rams.